Hello, it's Davida here. Welcome back to Go for the Very Best. There was this young man who lived in his father's house. His father was a very wealthy man. He was the wealthiest person in town. This young man had the very best of life. He had money, he had cars, he had shoes, clothes, the expensive things of life. These were like commonplace to him. Most of all, he had his father's love. He had peace of mind. He had stability. He had everything going for him. Now, this young man began to become uncomfortable. He began to grow dissatisfied. He became so dissatisfied that one day he went to his father and said, "Father, give me my inheritance. Give me my share of wealth. Give me my share of your wealth, and I want it now." His father, unsure of what had come over his son, decided to take his wealth and give half of it to his son and half of it to the boy's brother. Now this son took the money that his father gave him and squandered it. He squandered it on food, on drink, on partying, on women, on clothes, things that he didn't really need. He spent all that money in no time. Now, when he had run out of money, he decided to get a job. He ended up getting a very poor job, a job that wasn't even fit for the kind of person that he was, not fit for the home that he was coming from. He ended up working on a farm with pigs. He started feeding these pigs. Now his situation got so bad that he got to a point where he was thinking of eating the food that was meant for the pigs. One day when he was so hungry that he wanted to fight for food, to grab the food that was meant for the pigs, he thought to himself, this is not a good way to live. This is not a good situation. I better go back to my father's house. Even the servants in my father's house have it better than this. So he made his way back home. But unknown to him, his father was always looking out for him, yearning for him to come back. His father had gone to the brow of the hill where he had seen him disappear into the very, very far distance. His father would go there every single day, watching to see if he would see his son coming back home. The servants that were with the father probably wondered, what kind of man is this? What kind of love is this? Anyway, this day the father went to the brow of the hill and he saw his son coming back. He recognized his son from that far distance and ran to his son and grabbed him and put his arms around him and said, "Why has it taken you so long?" His father told his servants to go and get him a new set of clothes. So they took off his dirty clothes and gave him rich, wealthy clothes. They gave him a rich robe, which he now put on. Now they put rings on his fingers. He started to look like royalty again. Now he was feeling so embarrassed about what he had done. He told his father, "Please, father, don't do this. Don't dress me up in your best. I've sinned against you. I want you to forgive me, and at least just let me live like the least of your servant." And his father wasn't having it. He said, "No way, you're my son. You were dead and now you are alive." He told his servants to go and make a feast. He told them to kill the fatted calf. They made the feast and they made merry. They invited people from far and near to come to see that his son had returned. His son was dead and he was now alive. That was good news. He was dead and he had now been restored back to life. Now his older brother, who had been in the fields working hard, couldn't understand what all the merrying and all the music was all about. So he walked towards the house and saw one of the servants and asked the servants, "What's going on here?" And the servant joyfully told him, "It's your brother. He's back. He was dead and now he's alive. And your father is throwing a party for him. He's throwing this feast for him, and he's killed the fatted calf." The older brother couldn't even believe what he was hearing. How dare his father would do this? So instead of going into the party where the merrying was going on, he decided to stay outside the house. The father, seeing that his son was missing, went out to look for him and saw the son outside the house and said, "Son, what is wrong?" Then the son told the father. He said, "Father, I've been with you all this time. Your son, my brother, had gone away. He'd taken everything that you had given to him. He'd squandered all the money you'd given to him. He'd spent it on riotous living. He spent it on prostitutes, on drinks, on partying. And now he's back, penniless. And see what you do for him. You dress him in the best clothes. You throw a party for him. You kill the fatted calf. You've done nothing like that for me." And his father looked at him and smiled and said, "Son, you've always been with me. You're always with me. Didn't you know that all that I have is yours?" There are many wonderful lessons to be learned from this story. But the one I want to draw to your attention is the fact that this young man had everything going for him. He had all the wealth. He had the very best. But when he broke that relationship and went off living a riotous life, he became poor. He became needy. He had nothing. He ended up in poverty. He was impoverished. But then all wasn't lost. He could come back to his father's house. He could restore that relationship with his father. And when he returned to the father, guess what? All that the father had belonged to him. All the wealth of the father was now his. Now, I'd like to say that that's the same for you. Like that prodigal son. Tell him that I want to come back. I want a relationship with you. I'm so sorry that I had gone my own way, that I had gone astray. And guess what? When you do that, God is already waiting for you. And he's saying to you, what has taken you so long? Why has this taken you so long? Come into my kingdom and enjoy the best of life. And if you have already accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and you are reconciled back to God the Father, wake up. Wake up. God has his best waiting for you. Don't be like that older brother who is with the Father and doesn't realize that all the good things that God has put in the earth, in this universe, is for you. Go out. Go for the very best. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.